Chairman Maloney and Ranking Member Gibbs. Thank you for an opportunity to speak today about the Coast Guard's interdiction operations in our hemisphere. I'm particularly pleased to testify alongside two key shipmates in our nation's fight against transnational criminal organizations, or TCOs. In June of 1983, as a new ensign, I reported aboard Coast Guard cutter Dauntless in Miami, Florida. As such, 36 years ago, I joined the nation's fight against those seeking to traffic drugs across our shores. With this perspective, I can assure you that the tactics and resources our service employs to confront the flow of this corrosive element has evolved significantly over the last 3 decades. Concurrently and regretfully, drug runners of the 1980s have matured into transnational criminal organizations, multinational enterprises that are unfortunately adaptive, business-savvy, wield the influence of seemingly unlimited funds, and are proving to be highly effective. We confront threats far from our land border, where traffickers are most vulnerable, and efforts net wholesale or Costco-styled size versus retail-size loads that could prove vexing for local police. Since success requires the convergence of 3 essential elements: intel queuing to focus maritime operations in the size of twice the continental United States, patrol aircraft that help pinpoint targets, and finally, an afloat presence with pursuit boats and helicopters from which use of force can be employed to compel compliance. We are getting results. Coast Guard is on track for a 4th consecutive year of 200+ metric tons of cocaine seized. These efforts likewise diminish the ability of criminals to fuel violence that destabilizes partner nations and create that migration push factor in these trafficking corridors. Regarding our on-scene presence, I cited my first assignment, Cutter Dauntless. She remains on watch today. She's over 50 years old. She and her sister medium-endurance cutters are truly the patrol cars of this mission, 70% of our offshore presence. However, this fleet is increasingly expensive to keep in service, unreliable, and lacks the capability of modern patrol vessels. Last year alone, unplanned maintenance yielded the loss of 2 major cutters in the fight. Like our national security cutter, our service is grateful to Congress's efforts to recapitalize our aging multi-mission medium-endurance cutters. Over 90% of 2018 interdictions were intel queued. However, it is difficult to locate targets in a massive West Hemisphere transit zone. Small unmanned aerial systems, game changers, are being added aboard our national security cutters and augmenting manned aircraft. In a single deployment, Coast Guard Cutter Stratton's small UAS was key to removing nearly 9 metric tons of cocaine and 23 suspects. Just as today's Coast Guard has matured, the TCOs have evolved in response. We now confront self-propelled semi-submersible, special-built, low-profile vessels along with the typical go-fast. But it takes a network to defeat a network. We partner with Colombia, Mexico, Costa Rica, other Central and South American and Caribbean nations. Likewise, Dutch, British, French, and Canadian ships, at times with embarked U.S. Coast Guard teams, are complementing multinational counter-drug results. Within our own department, DHS, full court press is harmonizing cross-component capabilities and getting results off Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Now, I've cited my observations as 3 decades-plus veteran in our nation's counter-narcotics fight. One constant remains: the unwavering resolve of Coast Guard crews to take all measures, in fact, at times risking their own lives, to keep this poison from the streets of our nation and ultimately our citizens. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. I look forward to your questions, and I greatly appreciate your support of the women and men who are the United States Coast Guard. Semper Paratus.
Thank you, Admiral.